You're not losing sales because of price, competition, or bad leads. You're losing them because you haven't mastered the art of no. And that's exactly what Dashaun Bryant is here to teach. In this episode, we're diving into the mindset, language, and frameworks that drive top-tier sales performance with the one and only Dashaun Bryant. From the art of the no to mastering word precision, this is a deep dive into what it really takes to become unforgettable in the roofing industry and in life. Dashaun Bryant is the founder of Roof Hustlers, a coach in the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, and the visionary behind the Best Hustler Experience and Best Hustler Academy. He's trained thousands of reps across the country and continues to elevate the game through tactical sales training, personal development, and unapologetic authenticity. Dashaun's journey isn't just about sales, it's about growth. From struggling with street slang in early sales calls to obsessing over word economy and emotional intelligence, his evolution is a case study in what loving the game really looks like. Whether it's parenting, diet, or knocking doors, Dashaun applies systems and intention to every part of his life. So if you want to master the language of influence, build unshakable confidence, and become the kind of rep who owns the room and the block, this episode is your blueprint. Let's get into it with Dashaun Bryant. Welcome to the Roofing Success Podcast. I'm Jim Aline, and I'm here to bring you insights from top leaders in the roofing industry to help you grow and scale your roofing business. Dashaun Bryant, back again.
Yes, sir. Man, I appreciate it. Honor and a privilege and a pleasure to be back. It's always nice to see your face, man. It's always nice to be on the podcast. And sometimes I got to get out of my own head, right? Because I'd be like, man, it's like my fourth time being on the podcast, or fourth time. I'm like, man, Jim, I'm tired of hearing from me, man. So I'd be like, let me try to let somebody else get on it.
We just always have a good conversation. So it's like we got to come back every 6 months or so, come back to it and have some more. Because I know your work, the work that you put in and the sessions that you do over at the RSRA and the stuff you're doing with Best Hustler Academy.
Yes, sir.
Like there's a continuous evolution. And so I really enjoy that. And there's always something new to talk about.
Thank you, man. I think it's important to evolve in the game.
Yeah, the evolution. And one of the things that you seem from us, we had a conversation a week or so ago, and you were talking about training on the art of the no. And I thought, man, people need to hear that. So how can someone build the skill set around the art of the no?
Yeah. So, what really inspired this was, I fly around the country and I coach and train numerous door-to-door sales teams, right? And I started noticing that sales guys were losing control of the sales process. So they would be like, 1, 3, 4 layers deep into the sales process. And now the homeowner's starting to flip it on them with deductible talk, or they want estimates, or, they trying to figure out what the sales reps is going to do for them outside of just helping them get a brand new roof. So I went to really assessing and studying the way these sales reps been working. And I'm like, what's the gap? I'm like, first of all, these guys have no process. Second of all, they're running away from the word no. So they're running away from the word no. And don't confuse the word no with an objection, right? So I don't want nobody up on my roof. I don't want my rates to go up. I don't want to get dropped. Like, that's not what I mean by chasing the art of the no, like the art of the no. What I mean by chasing the no is, if there is something to kill this deal, let's get it out the way early. I mean, before we even do a roof inspection, before we sign paperwork, before we get the insurance company involved, before we get to this place of picking our shingles and all of these things, if no is to kill the deal, let's get it out the way early. So no is the second best answer you can hear in the sales process, whether you believe it or not. right? And sales reps don't believe that. They're like, oh, when I hear the word no, that means the sales is over. And I'm like, actually, when you get the word no out earlier, you saved yourself a lot of time, money, and resources. So as I've been studying this, it's a phenomenal book called The Win Without Pitching Manifesto. The Win Without Pitching Manifesto, right? And what I've learned, Jim, is people read books, but people don't study books, right? They read a book, put it down, another book. So I done read the book once. I went back this time and I studied the book. So I really started studying this art of getting to the no sooner than later. So now what we've been teaching sales reps is the door-to-door proclamations, right? The door-to-door proclamations, which allows us to get to the no's faster than just begging for business, right? Just throwing up a sales pitch and hoping somebody say yes, when it actually now we're having conversations over presentations, right? So the purpose of the conversation is for us to, first of all, establish the rules of engagement, to see if you're going to allow me to serve you in the way I see best fit possible. And if you ain't going to even allow me to lead the sales process the way I want to lead it from start to finish, let's just get to this no now. Let's just get to this. It don't even make sense for us to move forward no more. Right. It don't even make sense for us to even go to that next step, because you're not going to allow me to be the practitioner and take over this process. And unconsciously, what sales reps don't understand is the homeowner wants to feel slightly vetted. They want you to show that, hey, you got a process, you got a routine, you got a way of doing things, right? And as they see you start to step into your expertise, they actually lower their guard. They take a step back and they let you take over the sales process, right? So I'm teaching guys to get to the no sooner. We reversing the roles of the objection, right? So if we know a homeowner got anywhere between a 1% to 3% deductible, we saying, hey, so Mr. Jim, the average deductible we typically deal with is anywhere between $2,000 to $7,000. I just want to make sure you're comfortable with making that type of commitment before we even move forward. No, I don't think I can handle that type of commitment. Even if we was to offer you financing and show you a way you could pay that for 24 months, 0 interest. No, that ain't something I want to do. Completely understand. Hey, I hope you find somebody else that can better serve you. Here go my business card. If you change your mind, you give me a holler. Let's get to the no sooner than later. Instead of, now I done got you approved, Jim. Now I'm at your kitchen table picking out shingle colors, and now you like, oh, I can't cover my deductible. And now it's my responsibility to overcome that objection. Versus if I bring that objection up first, now you got to overcome the objection, right? We teaching sales reps to do little minor things that like give them so much control like this. When you got a sales rep that say, not a sales rep, the owner that say, well, I don't sign no paperwork. I don't sign no paperwork. Well, completely understand, Mr. Jim. The thing about it is we're not able to help you at the highest level. It's actually company policy that we can't move no further in this process unless we get this paperwork signed. Now it's no longer emotional. It's just company policy, right? It's a part of being in control of the sales process. And all of these tactics and strategies that we teaching guys now are to help you get to the no sooner so you can properly vet out your homeowners, so you can have selectivity with who you decide to do business with. And everybody you do decide to do business with, and we move forward in this process, is 10 times smoother because we did everything to get the no out sooner than dealing with it too later in the sales process. So these be some new things I've been teaching the sales reps, man. And it's been fun because before we move on, because I know we're going to unpack this, one thing I've been reminding my sales reps, right, is that your homeowner worked hard to get that house. They worked hard to buy their car. They worked hard to be in a position to lead their family, right? So even though it's in their nature to be in control, in this situation, it's not in their best interest. So what you got to understand as a sales rep, your homeowner gonna naturally want to lead the process because that's what got them that's what got them to where they are at in their life right now, because they've been able to take control and lead things. But you got to understand, you got to stand your ground as that sales rep and understand that if we are to get to the best result possible, I got to stay in control. I got to lead this thing from start to finish. And if we are to get to the no, and it is to kill the deal, let's get to it sooner than later.
Would you say the biggest no's, what I heard deductible, signing the contract.
Yeah.
What are some other no's that you're getting out of the way sooner than later?
So we dealing with and then within our process, right? Because we do a lot of storm restoration.
Yep.
Those are some of the main ones. Homeowners don't want to sign contingencies. Don't want to sign contingencies. We try to get that out of the way sooner than later. Money, as far as like they can't afford certain deductibles, right? Sometimes they might have needs that we can't fulfill, and we don't want to tell them no.
Mm.
So we'll dance around it and get further in the process, even though we know we don't got the resources, like their needs and our expertise don't align together, right? Sometimes it's distance. Homeowner live 2 hours and 30 minutes away. Instead of you saying, no, you out my jurisdictions, I can send you a referral. You driving 2 hours and 30 minutes to go take care of this homeowner. And that's a reason why it possibly don't make sense for us to move forward. Also, they're not allowing you to leave the process. That's a no we want to get out of the way early, sooner than later. Will they let you be the expert that you need to be to get them to the results that they want, or they're going to try to take over the sales process and make your life miserable? So these are all some things that you got to address early, in a sense of like conversation over collaboration. I mean, conversation over presentation. When we having a conversation with our homeowner, we setting the rules of engagement from the get-go. I'm going to do an outside inspection. I'm going to get up on your roof and check out, the damage up on your home. After that, we're going to come inside the house and look for interior damage as well, right? Do you have any suggestions or any recommendations before I decide to move forward with my process? That's in the beginning of the sales process. That's when you open up for your homeowners to have recommendations or suggestions. If they don't have any recommendations or suggestions on the front end, they gave you the freedom of execution. But most sales reps don't do those things on the front end. They water everything down, and the homeowner just step in and take over control any chance they can.
That was a nugget right there. It's just and that was where I was going with it. I was like, what are the steps to confirming that the homeowner is allowing you to have control? And that was, what other is that the frame right there? That's the questions. Do you have any other
framework?
Yep. Like just
any suggestions, anything before I get started.
Yep. Because what if they do have suggestions now? Hey, I do want you to this. I want you there. I have a suggestion about this and that. Where is that? You're beginning, and is that in the framework of overcoming objections? Then those become objections in the control of the conversation. How are you treating that?
That's a great question, right? So now we open it up to collaboration, because the problem with most sales rep, Jim, is they go into presentation mode. Well, it's a one-sided conversation where they telling the homeowner everything they gonna do, right? Versus when you stay in control of the process, we have a conversation. So now we going back and forth in dialogue. Is there any other suggestions or recommendations? Yeah, I noticed this going on. I want to get this taken care of. I want to do this, right? Now we got this opportunity to talk about these things on the front end, right? Okay, I can handle the siding. I can handle this. I can handle this part of the process. We don't do this, but we are able to help you with this. So I'm able to handle 4 out of the 6 things that you want to get taken care of. Does that sound good? Yeah, no, I'm cool with all of those things. All right, now I'm about to go ahead and get my process started. Just want to make sure all these things make sense. Because also, one thing we addressed, Jim, in the beginning for the conversation that opens it to collaboration is once I come inside the house, I'm going to look for interior damage. Once all of these things are confirmed and I feel like it's enough damage worth moving forward, the next step is we're going to cover some basic paperwork. That is going to be required for us to take these next steps forward. So I'm telling them every step of the process. We having a conversation, not a presentation. Once I address all of these things that they could potentially say no to on the front end, if they say no to nothing, they gave me the freedom of execution, and I've got all of my potential objections out of the way before I even got into the process.
Yeah.
Most of my homeowners, Mr. Jim, they sign this thing, what we like to call a contingency agreement, which allows us to help them through the process at the highest level possible. I want to make sure you're not going to have any issues with that. Oh, no, if that's how we can help. If this is how you guys do your job the best, I'm fine with that. Sounds good. And that's, like I said, them giving you the freedom of execution. So One thing I've learned that had me looking at this was sales rep. This is how they typically do it. Hey, we get up there, give you a quick 10-minute inspection, and then we'll let you know where we go from there. That's it. We'll give you a quick 10-minute inspection. We let you know where we go from there. And the rules of engagement haven't been established. So now when they come down and they're trying to take these necessarily next steps, the homeowner starts stepping in and roadblocking everything. And they trying to take control. And now they hitting you with objections. I don't really want to sign paperwork. Now you got to overcome that objection why they need to sign paperwork. Now last roofer said they're going to help me with my deductible. Now you got to overcome that objection. How you going to overcome? So I've been learning we got to reverse the roles of the objection, which is you bring these things up first. You make your homeowner overcome your objections versus you trying to overcome their objections.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds, in another conversation that we've had was the mindfulness of words. And that's what really remind that this is where like, as you're saying these things, it's like you're very mindful with the language that you're using. Speak on the mindfulness of words and eliminating that, the unnecessary in words in your language and in your conversations.
Before we carry on with the episode, let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors.
I talk to contractors every day that feel stuck. Not because they're not working hard, but because they're missing the structure to growth without chaos. Or their culture's falling apart because their team's unclear, unaligned, or just burned out. And when change hits, they're reacting instead of leading because time and priorities aren't under their control. Day 41 Thrive helps to fix that with proven strategies for growth, culture, and leadership that actually work. Ready to thrive beyond the storm? Visit the link in the description or visit the Roofing Success Podcast website on the sponsors page to start your journey today. Speak on the mindfulness of words and eliminating that, the unnecessary in words in your language and in your conversations.
No, that's beautiful, right? Because sales reps, the veterans understand this, or the really good guys understand this, but the new guys within that 1 to 3 year range is, well, first of all, let's take it back to the beginning. Always ask people, who taught you how to use the words, phrases, and like statements that you use? And most people be like, what you mean, who taught me? I'm like, who taught you? It's like, I don't know, school, my parents. I said, no, nobody taught you. You just picked the shit up. You just heard people saying things and you just kept repeating it, right? It's funny because all of us say, are you sure? And I always ask people, who taught you to use that? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, who taught you to say, hey, when they say this, say, are you sure?
Are you sure? Yeah.
Like, nobody's taught us that statement. So over the past 5 years, I've been obsessed with, like, how do you become more precise, concise, directional, and destinational when you have conversations with people? So I try to be my best to be very attentive to words and be a wordsmith. So I'm like, how do I cut out the fluff, let alone the doubt when I communicate with my homeowners? So I recently read this book called Argue Less, Talk More, The Next Conversation. It's a whole book on how to have proper arguments. And then as I'm reading the book, I thought about it. I'm like, who taught us how to argue? You know what I'm saying? Like, who taught you how to argue? Nobody never taught you how to argue. That's why when you get in arguments, it go from 0 to 100, because nobody never taught us that the purpose of an argument isn't to get to a solution. It's just to have a good enough conversation to have the next conversation. You know what I'm saying? That's the purpose. Let's have a healthy enough conversation to get to the next conversation. So now I'm studying this stuff. I'm like, whoa, sales reps love to use unnecessary words. I'm just calling to follow up. This is just, I like basic paperwork. That is one of my favorite things. But sales reps love to say this. Basically, what we do is, so essentially what the next steps will be. I'm sorry to bother you. I'm sorry for being late, right? So as I'm studying these things, I'm like, man, how do we be more in control and more assertive in the way that we communicate with homeowners? Why? Because people follow assertive people. It's hard. to not follow the lead of an assertive person. And then I've learned 88% of people are non-confrontational. So when we sell people, we don't use these unnecessary words like adverbs. So a lot of sales reps love to use adverbs, basically, essentially, actually, especially, like all of those words. So now it's, if you do have enough store-related damage, the next steps we're going to take is get in contact with your insurance company, let them know what's going on. If there's enough damage, we're going to get them out here so we can get the ball rolling. Very assertive, but not aggressive. Right? Yep. Basically, what we do is, so we don't say basically, we say what we do is we let you know the steps you can take to get a brand new roof. We're able to get the insurance company to pay for them. Very assertive, very direct, but in a very compassionate, non-aggressive way. So when you late, right, and you communicated with your homeowners, hey, I'm 15 minutes late. When you show up, stop always apologizing. Save your apologies for when they matter. So if you already gave them a heads up that you're going to be late, when you show up to the house, you don't say, hey, I'm sorry for being late. You say, hey, thank you for being patient. Thank you for being patient. I appreciate it. Now I'm not coming from this minimizing position, because people think when they're apologizing, they're being considerate and they're being thoughtful. No, you minimizing yourself, right? So we've been paying attention to all of these little nuances of the game that allows you to be more assertive. Also, when it comes to tone, right? I've been playing with the tone with people, because I watched this past weekend, I did a training and the tone went like this. It went up and then down. So it was like this. So what we do is we get people get nervous. I'm like, why are you dropping your tone? So I learned something recently, a technique. I say, how do you maintain a solid tone throughout a sales presentation? It's equivalent to you being at Thanksgiving dinner and you ask somebody to pass you the salt. When you ask somebody to pass you the salt at Thanksgiving dinner, you don't say, hey, can you pass me the salt, please? You be like, hey, Uncle Jim, pass me the salt. Uncle Jim, pass me the salt, man. Hey, can you pass me the salt, please? But that's how sales reps ask for the close. So if there's damage, like the next steps will be that we contact your insurance company, all of those filler words, because they're not assertive in their communication. So we've been unpacking and continuing to fix the nuances of the game so guys can be that much concise, precise, directional, and destinational when they closing their homeowners, be more assertive, and actually get more deals closed.
How do reps, because to me, the learning process is first you learn something, and then all of a sudden you hear it in what you're doing, right? So you learn, you start to, you're like, oh, I hear myself saying it. Then the next step is to work on that and eliminate those things, and then you get to more of a mastery level. What is that? What is walk a sales rep through that process of how do you identify the words that you're using that are inefficient? What changes do you make to get to have a more clear and concise conversation, and how do you make sure that you do that every single time?
Great questions, right? So step one, right? Phase one, learn your script, or whatever it is that you need to do. Learn your script, right? Get that foundation down. So now at least you got whatever it is you need to say memorized, because I want to let you know it's going to take you a while to correct your grammar and your vernacular, because you've been speaking this way for 22 years, 23 years, 25 years, 26 years, whatever, 30 years. You habitual. So you've been doing this your entire life. So phase one, learn the script. All right, you got your script down pat. Boom. Phase two, raise your level of self-awareness. And self-awareness has so many layers to it, right? People view self-awareness of like just becoming aware of my triggers and what makes me angry, what makes me sad. Like that's how they view self-awareness. No, self-awareness is to know that you snarl your lip when you say certain things, right? So people say certain things to you and your eyebrows raise and you look at people like they stupid, right? So like you got to start having that self-awareness of everything about you that shifts and moves during conversations. So now you're raising your self-awareness, right? Okay, I'm becoming mindful of the way my physiology changes, the way my tone changes, the way my voice cracks, right? The way when I get aggressive, when I get defensive, you becoming aware of those things. Okay, now I'm raising my level of awareness. And as you raise your level of awareness, now you start to use the past as valuable training. So like you said, Jim, phase 1, learn the script. Phase 2, become self-aware. Phase 3, start listening to yourself. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most difficult things to do because you don't listen to the words that you say. You just say the words that you say.
Uh-huh.
You don't listen to them. You just say them. Because I'll be training with a sales rep and I'll be like, why you just said that? They be like, I ain't say that. I'm like, I just heard you say it. What did I say? You said this. Oh man, I didn't even know. I'm like, yeah. So now I got to bring it to your awareness that you say certain phrases. You got, because you need somebody outside of the picture to bring it to your awareness because it's your habits. And your brain don't recognize your habits. Your brain only recognizes new patterns. So once it becomes habitual, your brain don't think about it no more. It's normal. Yeah, your brain don't got to acknowledge it no more. It's like, this is what we talk. This is how we do it. I ain't paying attention to nothing I say because we've been saying this for 20 years. Now, when you start paying attention to the words that you're saying, now you forcing your brain to start being mindful of the words that it's using. So now you saying basically and you stopping yourself versus your brain used to saying basically and keep going. So now you're like, oh, shit. Now you forcing your brain to look for new words. As you're forcing your brain to look for new words, I want to let you know it's going to be exhausting because the brain only want to use 20% energy, and the 20% of the energy that is using every day, it want to use it on things that it already know. So you learn your script, you start to become self-aware, right? As you're raising your self-awareness, now you're beginning to listen to the words that you use on a day-to-day basis. And if you really want to get anal about it, get an accountability partner and get them to call you out every time you use a word that you're trying to get rid of. And you just said, basically, God dang it. Okay. You just said, are you sure? Oh, dang. All right. And now you will eventually start forcing yourself to find better words, use better terminology, have more clear, concise sentences when you're communicating with homeowners or the people in your life.
Yeah. And I think about this from a technology perspective now, too. It's very easy. First of all, it's been around for a long time. My wife she would, like, I would watch my podcasts and edit them and do all these things for years. And she's like, how do you watch yourself and listen to yourself? Like, how do you do that? Like, it is so uncomfortable to hear yourself in the beginning, to hear what you say, the tonality that you use. It's very uncomfortable. So I have some ideas for people. You tell me what you think, Dashaun. So first of all, you have like the software that's developed for this, things like Rilla and Zero.
Rilla,
right?
Yeah.
Like Rilla and Zero are developed for this specific person or for this specific purpose to make sure that you're getting those words. I'm going to give you a simple hack. There's a voice recorder on your phone.
Straight up.
A voice recorder, you can download that audio and make a transcript to get the transcript from it. And you could upload that into like ChatGPT without listening to yourself. You could just upload it and tell ChatGPT, you are an expert salesperson. I am trying to eliminate unnecessary words and unnecessary words and phrases like this, that, the other thing. Please review this transcript and let me know where I'm at, like what I can improve upon. And it will do it very quickly. It's pretty crazy. And so what I would suggest to people is at least if you're dedicated to this craft, if you are dedicated to improving yourself, just turn on the voice recorder on your phone.
And what you just said is crucial. Do you got the dedication, though?
That's right.
Are you that? Because I think that if I had to like explain what made me want to become more aware of the words that I use and the way that I communicate, is because I was raised in the hood. So I was heavy slang. My first 2-3 years in the industry, I was like 80% slang. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You know what I'm talking about? Like that was the majority of my communication. And maybe like after a few months in the game, I was like, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work no more. Like we gotta clean this up. How do we get better at this? And I'm on year 10 and I'm still trying to find ways to get better at it.
It never ends. But
it never ends.
It never ends, right? But you have to start somewhere, and just start with listening to yourself, or having, like you said, if you have an accountability, if you have someone out knocking with you and listening to you, hey, let me know if I say any of these things, right? And they can listen for those things for you. But if not, man, just voice record yourself and then go back and listen to it. You will find things that you're like, ooh, man, why do I say that? And it's a nonstop, continuous process. Like I've been speaking on stages for years, and it was a couple of years ago. I was doing a presentation, and it was the word "right." I started using the word "right" as a filler.
Mm-hmm. I've been noticing. I've been doing it too.
Right. So it was something that became very conscious to me, and I and then once it's conscious to you, now you can start working on. You'll still say it. I promise you. You'll still say the things that you want to eliminate, but at least your brain, like you said, your brain is catching them. So that is that wanting to get better, that seeking improvement, to me is another topic that we've had conversations about, and that's loving the game.
I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors.
As a roofing marketing agency owner and coach, I've seen it all. Great marketing wasted because no one follows up fast enough. That's why I built Power Up Agents, not just a receptionist. Our AI handles the entire customer journey, from answering the first call to booking the job to post-job surveys and reviews. 24/7, inbound, outbound, even multilingual. If you want leads followed up instantly and customers nurtured automatically, visit the link in the description or visit the sponsors page on the Roofing Success Podcast website. Your full AI team is ready. That is that wanting to get better, that seeking improvement, to me is another topic that we've had conversations about, and that's loving the game.
Yeah. I don't think most sales reps love the game. I think they love the money. They love the checks. So they do just enough to win. And as they win, they like, well, it's working. I'm winning. I don't need to change nothing. I don't need to grow. I don't need to evolve. I don't need to improve. I'm solid. And I believe it takes a different level of curiosity in order to really fall in love with the game. Because I think about Kobe Bryant, right? If you studied the game, he got to a point to where he couldn't drive no more. Like if you watch Kobe, he couldn't drive no more because young Kobe was dunking on you. He was dunking on you, bro. He was out in the lane, pow, dunking on you, you know, right? And then he got to a point he couldn't drive anymore. He was like, you know what? I need to perfect this mid-range and this three-point shot. My mid-range game need to get nasty. And that's what Kobe did. That's what gave him the longevity to keep playing because he couldn't drive, so he had to step back and learn how to do that. So for me, I started learning. I'm like, man, motivation gets you in the game, right? Motivation go get you in the game. Learning is what keeps you playing the game for a long time. And then for you to stay in continuous learning mode, you got to have a love for the game, to love the nuances, to love the big picture, the small picture, the words, the transitions, the closes, the mannerisms. How do you work a heavy work neighborhood? How do you step into a heavy work neighborhood and sound different than everybody? That's a love of the game. How do you take a normal roof inspection, right, and turn it into maintenance? And now you done got your homeowner thinking about it, like not just getting a free inspection, getting a brand new roof, but dang, you're right. I don't maintenance my property. Yeah, go ahead and check that out for me. I ain't even thought of, because now I've been learning over the past few months and years. I'm trying to get away from selling roofs, Jim, and I'm just trying to focus on selling perspectives. But that came from me loving the game. I'm like, whoa, man, I don't really think roofs is what we sell. So what do we sell? I'm like, oh, we sell perspectives. So now how do I master this art of selling people a new way to look at their problem? And I've just been playing with these things, man. So you got to love the game. You got to really love the game, because like me and John Cenac say all the time, man, money chases mastery. Money chases mastery. As you master your craft, as you get better at what you do, people will chase you. You will attract a certain type of income once you start to learn how to operate from that third level of value. And that third level of value is communication, right? Which is one of the best ways to make money, is using your mouth, not using your physical body. But you got to have a strong love for the game of sales, the game of human nature, the game of, self-awareness, the game of the mindset, being mindful, doing the internal work, just really human optimization. That's what I've been telling people lately. I've just fell in love with human optimization. I want to be an optimal human. I love AI, but AI don't allow me to be an optimal human, because that's internal work.
Yes.
And
that you have to enjoy the growth. It's the 6 basic human needs. Tony Robbins, growth is one of them. And if you have that, if you lean into that and you enjoy that, you love that, my goodness, like it's something special. How have you broadened your learning over the years? How have you you have the love of the game. Now, how do you continue to evolve? Is it just, hey, I'm just looking for roofing knowledge? I know you look outside of the roofing industry a lot. How do you broaden? How does a sales rep, how does an owner broaden their knowledge? Broaden their learning?
We was just having a conversation about this. I got a really good friend, and his name John. And he was telling me how he's like, man, I've been going to these expos and these roofing conferences, and it's like, I know more than majority of these people that's up on stage and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what your problem is, John? He said, what? I said, you only learn from people in the roofing industry. He's like, what? I was like, just to bring it to perspective for you, I've never learned from one coach in the roofing industry. I've never had coaching from nobody in the roofing industry. Love Adam. I love all of these guys. But when I was young in my journey, I didn't pay no Becker. I didn't pay nobody. The first coach I spent money for was Grant. He was outside of the roofing industry. The second coach I spent money on was Coach Michael Burt. He don't even sell roofs. He's just a super coach. Then I went from Coach Michael Burt to, I was learning from the real Brad Lee. I was learning from John C. Maxwell, Myron Golden, just all of these high level people that had nothing to do with the roofing industry. Because once again, I was looking at, how do you become the best version of yourself, the best human? I didn't want to learn how to become the best roofer. Right. Then I went to learning, how do I develop my mindset? Then I went to learning from, mindset coaches like, what's my boy name? Relentless, Tim Grover, and then Brian Kane, and then Alex Steen. And, then I learned from Dr. David Cook, which is one of the top mental performance coaches in the country, right? So I'm learning from all of these people outside of the roofing industry. And right now I'm reading a book called The Art of the Impossible, which blew my mind. And they got this theory in the book that I thought was pretty phenomenal. They said, when you're somebody that started in one industry and that's all you did for a long time, you will make more money faster and sooner than the broad guy. So the guy that's broad, that maybe he worked in a grocery store, maybe he rapped for a little bit, maybe he did, bartending, then he went and did a construction job, and then he, worked at a grocery store, whatever. He did all of these different things, and then eventually he got into the roofing industry. He will start behind the guy that's been in the roofing industry for a long time, but eventually he will pass them and start making more money than them, because his learning is so broad that he can bring all of these different skill sets to this industry and thrive. So people who see me so good, they see I'm good at sales, they see I'm good on stage, they see I'm good at all of these things. I'm like, Oh no, bro! I went to a performing arts school when I was 10 years old. So I was acting and I was doing monologues when I was 10 years old, right? Then I played football for a while, right? And then I did door-to-door sales, selling the fundraisers. Then I worked in a grocery store for 3.5 years where I learned how to talk to humans. Then I worked at another grocery store. Then, I started doing this. Then I made music. Then I started but I've done so many random things that allowed me to learn from so many different arenas. And then when it comes to books, I read sales books, relationship books. I read the male and female dynamic books. I read parenting books. I read psychology books. I read spiritual books. I read all of these random books. None of them have nothing to do with roofing. And then what is innovation? Innovation is taking principles from one industry and you bring them to another industry. That's all innovation is. Innovation isn't invention. Two different things. An invention isn't like innovation. Innovation is I'm a marketer. I go learn from a marketer and then I use it on the doors. That's innovation. Right? So I take stuff from different industries, different markets, different types of learning, and I apply the principles to what I'm doing. Like the book, The Art of the Impossible, I've never heard empathy used this way. It said, what is empathy? Engaged presence. I'm like, damn, that's good. I've only heard empathy like this. When you listen to understand, you don't listen to respond. That's the only way I've ever heard empathy explained, like when it comes to communication. The way they talked about empathy, they said it's engaged presence. Boom. Innovation. I read this book called The Rational Male. It's a whole book on the male and female dynamic, right? Has nothing to do with sales. I heard one principle in the book that blew my mind. It said, I will always rather experience rejection over regret. I will always rather experience rejection over regret. I said, oh shit, that's a sales principle. This book don't got nothing to do with sales, but that's a sales principle because so many sales reps regret not knocking that $1 million home. They regret not walking into that commercial building. They got the regret. So I teach them now, always rather experience rejection over regret. So the innovation and the broadening your knowledge and the people you learn from allows you to be that much sharper in your industry and whatever it is that you're doing. So I love my roofing people. I love everybody in our industry. I love you. I love Adam. I love all of these guys, Lee Hay. I love all of those guys. But I encourage all my roofers, go learn from somebody outside of this roofing industry. Watch how you blow your competition out the water.
Yeah. It was to kind of something that goes along with that. As we were building Roofer Marketers, I was doing this podcast, and I promise you, there were so many times that I took things from a roofing business owner and moved it into a process in our digital marketing agency. It was crazy because it was just a good idea. Mm-hmm. Right? It was just a good concept. It was just good business. And so, you can find it everywhere. Everything is everywhere. And it's awesome to bring these in. I know you're working on the new book.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if it'll be out by the time this comes out. When do you think the book is going to be released? Is it going to be released at the event?
It's going to be released at the event. We're going to have it done November 13th and 14th. Yeah.
Okay. So the Best Hustler Experience Live is November 13th and 14th. The book will be released on that time.
Yeah.
But you've been, you had one of the early things that you brought to the table was the virtues of a hustler.
Yeah. The 11 door-to-door roof commandments. Yeah.
11 door-to-door roof commandments. And so there's been an evolution of that over the years in the virtues of a hustler. So 11 door-to-door roof commandments. Now it's the virtues of a hustler. Talk about the virtues of a hustler.
I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors.
Stop going at it alone, because growing a roofing company today is not what it was like even 3 years ago. Not with the economy, not with private equity, not with AI taking over the world, and let's not forget insurance rewriting the rules. Join the community of roofers who don't really like roofers. We share our winning secrets to help each other dominate in today's fast-changing and unpredictable times. Click the link in the description to apply to join.
11 door-to-door roof commandments. Now it's the virtues of a hustler. Talk about the virtues of a hustler.
Yeah, so the 11 door-to-door roof commandments came about because back in the days, which was the first podcast we ever did, like 3, 4, 5 years ago, when we were talking about 11 door-to-door roof commandments, and I viewed them as principles that governs your behaviors on the doors. Like, how do you stay principle driven while knocking doors and not get emotional? So we created the 11 door-to-door roof commandments. And as I continue to progress in my career, the thing that I continuously run into is the morals, the values. What morals or values govern your behaviors as you grinding as a hustler? So I think about like ancient Greece and old Greece and all of these things. Patience is a virtue, and these things are virtues. So I started thinking like, man, what are the virtues of like the hustler? Like, as you out here grinding and putting in work in this roofing industry, what are the virtues that I feel like if you embody these virtues, these moral compasses, you will thrive in this roofing industry? So I went down and started breaking them down. Like, one of them is grace, right? One of them is grace. And grace, the virtue of grace means give yourself the time that you need to grow into the person that you need to become to be able to sustain the success that you after in this industry. I know you want to get rich quick, but it ain't gonna happen. I want to let you know it ain't gonna happen. So you got to give yourself the grace. And I tell everybody, it took me about 2.5 years to really hit my strides and really start killing the game like I wanted to. So like, that's one of them. Give yourself the grace, right? Honesty. Honesty is a virtue, but I don't mean being honest with homeowners. Like, I don't mean being honest and not lying to your homeowners when I say the virtue of honesty. I mean, the virtue of honesty mean don't lie to yourself. Keep it real with yourself, right? Stop saying you're going to do something and do the opposite. That's you not being honest with yourself. Stop saying you're not where you want to be because you didn't get trained and your company didn't provide you with these resources. No. Let's be honest. You do no extra work. You do no extra work, right? So another virtue, be formless. Be formless, right? Bruce Lee said it best, like, you got to be like the water, right? You got to be formless. So I tell sales reps the virtue of formless means you got to have the ability to adapt in any environment that you in. You might be a 1099 company. They might go W-2. If you rigid, now your performance going to drop. You got to be formless, baby. You got to be up in Minnesota where you used to just file claims. Now you got to provide a good faith estimate. You got to be formless, baby. Right? I'm from Florida. We've had nothing but law changes since I've been in this industry, and we continue to thrive every single year. So these are just some of the virtues that I feel like if they embody these things as hustlers, they will thrive in our industry. So we got the I think it's the 10 virtues of the hustler, which I'm excited to have that done. It's already quote unquote done. We just we retyping it right now. We getting it edited up. So by the time of the event in Thursday, we can have like little physical hard copies. That way everybody can enjoy the virtues of the hustler. So I'm excited, man. And we're not trying to make it no like New York Times bestseller. I'm not pursuing that route with it. For me, it's just something I want to give to the people, my community, just to continue to keep bringing new information, new insight to them in the field.
Well, you should make it a New York Times bestseller.
You ain't wrong. You right. You right.
You know. Like
50 pages, New York Times bestseller, baby. Quick little booklet. You know what I mean? We're going to put in the work. Matter of fact, now that you said that, we're going to do everything. We're going to do the due diligence to figure out what we need to do there.
That's right. I'll help you out. I got a marketing plan for you.
Sound good. I'm ready. All right.
So you're a coach in the RSRA.
Yep.
You go and do on-sites with companies a lot. I know we talked about you still see in the industry that there is still a lack of training and that owners essentially rely on the experience of the reps that they hire for success.
Yeah.
That's not a good business practice.
Not at all, man. It's only a few owners that I've ran into that really loves the game, right? The growth, the nuances, and they able to retain their reps at a high level because they understand their value and the importance of training. But I'm 10 years into the game, and I ain't gonna lie to you, Jim. I thought like by this time, like maybe roof hustles would have started to like kind of quote unquote plateau and kind of just like get to this point to where people are like, no, we got it now. Like we know how to train our people. We don't need you, man. Blah blah blah. And as I'm learning, as I'm continuing to step into these environments, man, which go back full circle, nobody loves the game enough to to learn, to continually educate themselves so they can continuously train their sales rep because they're so fixated on growing their company. So yeah, training is still a watered down part of the game because they'll hire a sales rep that's been doing this 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, let's say 7 years, whatever, roofing experience, right? Been selling for Xerox for 10 years and all of these things, right? So an owner hears those things and say, I don't got to do no work. I got a rep, got experience. He been selling. Whoo, boy, I hit the jackpot, right? But I always tell owners, I'm like, no, you need to do the Carfax. Like you need to do the Carfax, right? Like who taught them how to sell? What do they define as selling? Right? What is their experience in selling? How much have they learned? How many events they've been to? How much mentorship they get? What's the last thing they've done when it came to their growth and their maturity in their sales, career or endeavor? So I'm meeting reps that's been doing this 6 years, 5 years, and they see me and they just like, man, I'm still not on that level. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you don't train the way I train, right? Also, most reps only are working at work. Only when they're doing the job. So only when they selling, running appointments, doing inspections, that's the only time they're doing the job. So when they go home, they cutting it off. So they viewing it as a job. They're not viewing it as a career or as a vehicle, which in return, just think about this, Jim, right? Like when we all had regular jobs, who the hell was doing any extra work at their job? Unless you was trying to get overtime. That's the only time you was doing extra work, to get overtime pay. So the training's still watered down in our industry because I know it's going to sound contradicting to who I am and what I do. But we made the game. We've made owners lazy. We've made owners lazy. Since they know they don't have to study, they don't have to put in the extra work. They don't got to get these people. Go to YouTube. Go to this guy. Go to that guy. They still not putting in their own work to go learn the things they need to learn to be able to take care of their people.
Yeah, that's interesting. They could write a check or send them in the direction of the content that's been created out there. Mm-hmm. That's a big revelation. And putting together a training program and executing on it day to day and continuously evolving that training program, that's work, man. There's work.
It's a lot of work
there. And so it's fruitful work.
Oh, the return is 10x.
Yes. And so it should take the time, guys. Take the time.
That's all.
Put the work in.
That's all we did, Jim. We just fell in love with it to where we like, man.
That's right.
It's an art to this. Let's continue to polish up the art, right? Like, let's continue to chisel away at this Michelangelo. And sales owners and sales managers just be like, we did it once. You should know it.
That's right.
Man.
And that kind of makes me think of another conversation, and that's maximizing our time here and becoming the best versions of ourselves. Like, I know you've been on this journey. Where's it led you?
Oh man, it's led me to a very happy place. Like, I'm extremely happy in my life. I'm happy whether I got money or don't got money, right? I'm happy when I have a phenomenal month. I'm happy when I have a bad month. Like, it doesn't change my temperament, like the amount of money that I make, right? And being so in love with becoming the best version of myself to where it comes the way that I communicate with the people in my personal life, having patience with my kids, doing the internal work. outgrowing society norms and standards. Like, I'm extremely selfish. Nobody goes around and says that. Nobody says that with pride, but I am the most selfish person in my life. I tell people I put myself before my kids, and they like, what? You put yourself before my kids? I'm like, yeah, because if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of my kids. So yes, I wake up 5 a.m. before my kids get up. I read, I study. That's me being selfish. To fill up my cup before I go fill everybody else's cup. Because everybody view the word selfish is, Jim asked me for $20. I tell him, no, I'm so selfish. No, that's stingy. That's being stingy, right? Being selfish is, I'm willing to tell you no, Jim, so I can go read a book, go do something that fills my cup. So now when I'm allowing you to do what makes you happy, I'm not worried about what makes me happy, right? I love making music. I'll tell my kids, hey, y'all sitting home with auntie for a few hours. I'm finna go to the studio. Can I come with you? No. I need to go do something for daddy first. And then when I come back home, my kids would be like, can we go to the park? Yes, let's go. Let's go play at the park for 3-4 hours. Whatever y'all want to do. Because my cup full. I was selfish for the day. Right? So this journey of just personal development, growing into the best version of myself, and my dating life, personal life, fitness life. Like, now I'm getting to a point to where I'm understanding the extreme importance of systems, right? So everybody got systems in their business. Systems. I'm like, man, you got to bring systems into your life, right? So what's one of my weak areas? I love to eat. Love to eat. That's my thing. And I like to eat what I want. So now we've created a systems. Now we're doing factor meals, right? So now we just got meals at the crib. So when I want to eat, I just heat it up for 2 minutes. It ain't that deep, but I'm learning of like, okay, it costs time, money, and energy to cook. Unless it's a meal I really want to eat, we got a system in place. Let me heat this little 2-minute meal up. I'll satisfy me. That way I ain't going to McDonald's no more, right? Fighting my impulsive decisions, the emotions. So, man, this personal development journey has been beautiful, man, because it's allowed me to thrive in this roofing industry. It's allowed me to serve more people. It's allowed me to help other people step into sides of them that they've kind of been dormant about. Because being a great roofer isn't how you help people go to that next level. Being the best version of you is how you help other people go to that next level, because people need to see something that they're not, and then they'll eventually want to chase that.
That's the journey, man. That's amazing. People have seen you around at a lot of events, speaking at events. You've done a lot of in-person trainings at a lot of companies around the country. You're switching it up a little. People are going to be able to come to you.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about this. I want to give a ton of love, respect, admiration, and just some validation to my big brother, Adam Bensman, because he pushed me in this direction. He's been telling me to do this for years. And as bold and as confident as I am, sometimes I do got some fear. And I did have this fear of, if I put on an event, I don't think nobody would come. And I know these are stupid thoughts, bro. I want to be very clear of this. I'm aware because I've packed out every room I've ever been in. And so we made a commitment. We went to this event in February called the Game Changer Experience. Me, him, and another guy, my boy, Justin. We all part of the RSRA. Yep. We went to this event in February, and it pushed me out of my comfort zone. He made me commit to putting on an event in front of 25 strangers, like high level commitment. And so we named it the Best Hustler Experience. Going to be a 2-day event in Atlanta, Georgia, November 13th and 14th. He challenged us to have the flyer done by Monday. This was on Saturday. So I made a commitment to have the flyer done by Monday. He told me I need to have the landing page by that following Friday. And he told me you need to get these sponsors within 30 days. Long story short, we dropped the flyer on that Monday. We dropped the landing pages that following Friday, made a commitment to get $25,000 in sponsorships in a month. We got $25,000 in sponsorships in 3 days. And the Best Hustler Experience will be November 13th, 14th in Atlanta, Georgia. It won't be a normal conference with people just speaking at you. We're going to make this thing an experience. It's very intimate. It's only a room for 120 people. And it's going to be different than anybody else doing. We got our keynote speaker, not a part of the roofing industry. His name Brandon Geyer. former MLB player. Now he's a certified mental performance coach. So we're going to be teaching guys the mindset and the mental practices you need to thrive in this industry. Me, my business partner, Bruce, and my boy, Nick Brandon over there, the owner of Hero Roofing. He coaches in the Best Hustler Academy as well. So I'm excited, man. I think this could possibly change my business model to where now we're not doing a lot of on-site trainings, but we're doing maybe like 3 to 5 of these a year. We having people come to us. And if you want the on-site training, we're just going to increase the price just because the need going to drop. Well, the need going to rise, but the scarcity is going to rise because we're not going to be doing it consistently. So, yeah, man, the Best Hustler Experience, baby, is going down November 13th and 14th in Atlanta, Georgia. I hope to see y'all there.
All right, man. It's been another fantastic episode. Love having you on.
Likewise.
This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Roofing Success Podcast. For more valuable content, visit roofingsuccesspodcast.com. While there, check out our sponsors for exclusive offers, shop for merchandise, and sign up for our newsletter for industry updates and tips. Also, join the Roofing Success Facebook group to connect with other professionals and stay updated on the latest trends. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue to bring you top industry insights. The website link is in the description. Thanks for listening.